Well, shalomi to my homies. How are you guys doing? I hope you are well. I hope you guys are having a good week. It is the beginning of the week. A lot of you guys are heading off to the work week. And I hope that you guys have a fantastic week. I hope you guys are reading scriptures. I hope you guys are truly, truly, truly reading these scriptures and writing these laws of our Creator on your heart, on your mind, and on your soul. And that everything in the first 5 books of scriptures is what you base your entire life off of. And right there, that is going to trigger a tremendous amount of people that don't understand, because we have that group of people, and there's a lot of them, definitely a lot of them. They're very, very loud. And they have taken words that a man has given to them without ever cross-referencing it in scriptures themselves. For instance, we have people that will keep a Sunday, what they call their Sunday Sabbath. They say because our Messiah rose on the first day, that that is now the new day of worship. When you have, excuse me, time and time and time again in scriptures when it talks about a 7th-day Sabbath. And our Creator rolls things in cycles of 7 and 50s. And we've had cycles of 750s from the beginning of time to where we are right now. And the Sabbath day was never ever changed. Our Creator has given us an appointed time. And there's only one day in this week that is blessed more than all the other days. And that is the Sabbath day, because it is sanctified by our Creator. The messengers and the Shamayim, the angels in heaven, are all keeping the Shabbat. All of our Creator's things are keeping a Shabbat in their own way. And so our Creator has told us that He wants us to keep this one set appointed time. But the people of our word religion says, nope, that's not it. We can do what we want, basically be a new form of religion, right? Christianity is supposed to mean that you're a follower of Christ, that you're a follower of the Messiah. But if those who are a follower of our Messiah need to understand that our Messiah was a huge follower of the Torah. He didn't come to invent a new religion. He didn't come to tell us a different way to live and operate. The foundational pieces of the Torah are just part of our lives. That is what we should have to govern ourselves, our families, our marriages, our finances, everything that we have in life. When we look at the world through the lens of the Torah, then there's a few things that we will have that we don't have without it. Number one is we have a spiritual protection of understanding the way that our Creator wishes us to operate. And so you will probably always have a positive side of the things that we can't see. The messengers that are defending us, the things that are possibly happening in a right way. But at the same time, those who are followers of Torah are also in the crosshairs of the greatest demon of them all, and hordes of demons. And so being a Torah keeper simply means that we are aligning ourselves to the proper way that our Creator wants us to live and operate with how the kingdom is going to operate. You see, we've been deceived in other ways about this magical rapture school bus that's coming down with our loving, all merciful, graceful guy named Jesus that picks up everybody that is eating unclean, that doesn't have a set of rules and regulations, basically said a big old forget you to the ways and the laws of our Creator. They think they're going to be saved. That doesn't exist in scriptures anywhere. Revelation 14:12 clearly says that those who are saved have 2 qualities. They have 2 attributes, 2 things that define those who are saved. One is that we are keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator. And the other is that we have the faith of our Messiah. Excuse me. That we know that the Son of the Most High, which is the Son, not the Father, came down and walked these lands perfectly as a Torah observant Son of the Most High. That's our leader. If we want to follow that example, then we would want to align ourselves into Torah, which a lot of you guys are new to Torah, but we've been, We've been going for Torah for a very, very, very long time now. And the longer you're in Torah, the more exciting Torah is. The more opportunity, the more potential, the more life-saving, light-giving, net-catching source of life within the Torah. And so that's why I kind of sound probably a little excited through all this, because I am excited. I'm excited about a people who want to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments, and people who are my brothers and who are my sisters, my family. Because we in Torah, number one, you lose your family. That's the one thing about religion, is that, especially with Torah offends all the pagans, right? If you're in a pagan religion, then you're offended by the Torah of the ways of our Creator. Because the ways of our Creator say that what you're doing is paganized, is worldized. What you're doing is leading to the roads of hell. And that's why they hate it. And so when they hear the truth of what is actually in Scriptures, it makes them very, very angry. And so you lose family. You lose those who are supposed to be bloodline, family-loving people, and they turn their back on you. And Boss Clan has gone even a step further, where we left the United States of America. And that even offended our mother-in-laws and father-in-laws even more. Even more. It offends them that we took their daughter. I took their daughter out of the United States, and their grandkids out of the United States. And they just, it makes everybody really, really angry. And so as we separate ourselves in as many ways possible as we can, it's not going to look good for our so-called friend status. We're not supposed to have these kind of friend statuses, because if you're hanging with the Gentiles, if you're hanging with those who are into movies, who are into unclean things that are bringing just bad thought and things that we're going to be judged upon, it's better not to have these friends. It's better to walk these lands alone. It's better to be with our Creator and to be by ourselves than it is to have to find that kind of loyalty of these people that simply don't care about our Creator at all. And so with that, guys, I'm still hacking just a tiny little bit here, and so I'm sorry as I'm coughing it up. Much love to all of you guys, and I want to give you guys a huge, huge, huge thank you to every single person that has purchased a Yah Scriptures and who has given me the ability to go seek my brothers and sisters in chains. And I have had life-changing, and I'm having life-changing interactions with a tremendous amount of good people. And you don't make it to death row by being a good person. But that same person that landed you on death row, we're talking, a lot of these guys that I talk to have been in there 20, 30 years, some even longer. Some have just been in there a very, very long time. And so they're not the same people that they were. And so in a world of repentance, in the world where we have an opportunity and we're not being judged under the Torah, because all of these guys are in death row, if they were judged under the Torah, then at the behest of multiple witnesses, they would have taken those guys that had done these evil things outside the city gates. We would have picked up the rocks, and we would have ended the evil inside of our midst right there. It's on Torah to hold these guys for decades and decades, and eventually, stick needles in their arms and concoction of whatever it is, and in their life in that fashion. Guys, all of this. And so I have been able to, because of you guys and because of your support, really, really, really fish for men. And it's not cheap, because we are the stamps that we're using to write the prisoners. It's digital stamps, and it's the system that completely socks it to us. For anybody in Texas, for a round trip email to my brothers and sisters, it's 88 cents. It's 44 cents for me to send the message, and I have to attach a 44-cent stamp, because a lot of these guys are indigent. A lot of these guys don't have family. A lot of these guys their families have turned their backs on them because it's too painful to deal with what is going on. And so they don't keep in touch with them, because they just don't want to be a part of this and have to see them die in these things. And so this is a very important job that we're able to do. And for every Yah Scriptures that you guys are able to get and purchase, and you guys are sharing the word, it's so amazing. This is it's so amazing to see this organic growth of Yah's people as we are doing something that is very, very good. And the reason that Yah Scriptures is here is because a criminal enterprise known as the Hallelujah Scriptures has been grifting people for 13 years plus. all these so-called orphans, widows, and lepers and prisoners, they don't have. They have never ever proven this, and they are a criminal org, guys. And what they did is for 13 years they hoarded the word of our Creator and would not give a digital version of it. They would not put it out. They only sold it, and you could only get it with a donation. You got to put a donation, and that just puts it on people's heartstrings to donate even more. And at the end of the day, all this money is funneled over to New Zealand. It's prospering the life of a lady named, she calls herself Shalom, but her name is Deborah. And her husband, who calls himself Max, but his name is Ken. They have more pseudonyms than half these guys that I talk to in prisons. So it's insane that a white-collar organization has been holding this. And by them holding in and not in shipping prisoners in mass like they claim they have done, a lot of souls, a lot of brothers should be reading scriptures, have never even heard of the Hallelujah Scriptures. And I'm going to be doing an interview with Noe Gonzalez Jr., who just got out after doing a 12-year bid. And it will come from his mouth exactly how many Hallelujah Scriptures are floating amongst the Texas prison system. And I will tell you that there's nobody gets them. One guy that I was able to talk to, his letter to the Hallelujah Scriptures said it's easier to get a pardon from Joe Biden than it is to get a Hallelujah Scriptures, which is true. Because these people, the only prisoners that ever got scriptures were the people from the outside that bought their loved ones these Hallelujah Scriptures. So Hallelujah Scriptures definitely shipped those in. But from 13 years of these people, interviews that I had with at least 6 or 7 different people that work for Hallelujah Scriptures, from the president of the company that started to all of the people, the so-called translation team, I talked to them all. And it's a fraud. The entire system's a fraud. And everybody who is in on this figures it out at some point that the Hallelujah Scriptures is a complete fraud, and they run. There's more people in the Arkansas place. They just keep lining up their stolen lands, and they keep getting richer and richer while there's no fruits other than they're getting rich and rich and rich, which is why the Yah Scriptures exists, because this is a far better version than the Hallelujah Scriptures ever could be, because they simply stole their work and they didn't go through it and proofread it, right? Boss Clan, myself, Nicole, Eli, Jaden, sometimes even Caden, we sat there for hours and hours and hours and hours for a year and a half going through this chapter by chapter over and over and over and go. Again, we'd make changes, save it, then reread that exact same thing again until we were 100% sure that this was exactly as it should be. And in that process, we found thousands of errors, because the Yah Scriptures is a hybrid between the TS 2009 and the Hallelujah Scriptures, but where both had issues, and where Hallelujah Scriptures simply just stole the original TS 2009, the ISR guys', they left all the problems that were in there because they never ever caught them, because nobody ever sat down as a group and in love and read the word of our Creator so much that we believe it is the greatest English translation out there. So guys, if you can support Yah Scriptures, this is how to. You can grab it, yahscriptures.com. It's free too. Guys, all the digital versions, like the version we're just about to read, is completely free of charge. So you do not need to... you don't need to pay for anything, but if you do, we are able to get these into these brothers and sisters in chains. So here we are, guys. This is the last book in Yah Scriptures, and if you made it this far, I'm so sorry. I get so winded on all this stuff, and it is exciting. Torah talk is exciting. Helping with the prisoners is super exciting, and what we're reading right here is super, super exciting, because this is the words of our Messiah. Our Messiah is going to be our leader one day, and that is so exciting. If you guys cannot imagine the moment, if we are ever able, that we are ever cling enough, that we are ever able to be accepted, that we can lay our eyes on our Messiah in such a fashion that he says, welcome, thank you, good servant, much love to you, my family. Hey, get a big hug, man. Wouldn't that be amazing, right? Big knuckles to our Messiah, high fives, big a hug, just being accepted into this clique of people who are set for eternity, people who are willing to ride with our Creator, how he wants us to ride and how he wants us to operate, and it's going to be cool. And so this is amazing, coming out of the words of our Messiah, Book of Khalidi, chapter 14, verse 28. One of the people who were there said, "We have heard that you teach the coming rule of Elohim and claim knowledge of the reign of the Shamayim. Tell us about these things." And these are the people that are always surrounding our Messiah. They're always asking him questions. They're very, very curious about things. And this is a very great question, because this is, hey, who doesn't want to know about the coming rule of Elohim? What is this? What does it mean? So Messiah said, Yahushua said, the rule of Elohim is not something which will come suddenly, nor will it bring about a violent change. It is not a change of surroundings, but a change of heart. The changed conditions will be brought about by changes in the heart. No man can say it is here or it is there. It is here, but waiting recognition. Just as others have heralded my coming, so do I herald the coming rule of Elohim. But its establishment does not depend on anything done by Elohim, but on the actions of men. These are big things, because this is stuff we have not heard stuff like this before outside of anywhere. This is very, very unique to the understanding of what does it mean that we bring the reign of Elohim amongst us. Now, first and foremost, the reign of Elohim will not be established amongst a group of people who have said the laws of our Creator are nailed to the cross. They are in the ditch. They don't mean anything anymore. Those are very disrespectful things that people say. That's not what it's going to bring about the will of Elohim and the kingdom of Elohim. First and foremost, we have 5 books: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And they're not all the scriptures, but they are the scriptures that are the foundations for life and for the Torah and for our moral compass on the way forward. It is in these words that we learn how our Creator wants us to live, operate, worship, take care of business, the entire thing. So when we write the first 5 books on our heart, mind, and soul, when we align ourselves and our families and our minds, and we get squeaky clean, we get the evil out of our lives, we get the evil away from our eyes. If we are into unclean things such as pornography, we work to get out of that. We don't stay in that filth. We don't keep committing adultery against our spouses of either the future or now in any of these acts. So the rule of Elohim is that we are aligning ourselves and our lives to the Torah and benefiting that of the kingdom. Because once we align ourselves with the Torah and we start heralding the reign of the Torah, that we start letting people know, hey, the Torah is in. And for some people, when you actually can get their eyes and attention away from the indoctrination of the anger that comes out when you tell them that the laws are not gone, then you can get through to them. But we need to herald all of this. We need to embrace the Torah into our life, into our surroundings, everything that we have, so that we are ready for the coming rule of Elohim. And the coming rule of Elohim will be ruled by the first 5 books of scriptures. So all we're doing by doing this is, number one, we're saying, okay, I like this way, which I do like the Torah. I like its ways. It's real clean. It's real snappy. It's real up to date. It's real futuristic. It's real good, right? If there was nothing else that I could ever leave my kids as advice, if I could just leave them the first 5 books of scriptures, that would be a great dad for life, right? If you could just get somebody into this and have them read it over and over and over, then we would learn a lot of stuff about life and manhood and womanhood and all this kind of stuff. So continue on. Messiah says this: the reign of the Shamayim is where Yahuwah rules in Ruach. But there is that within each man which can extend the reign of the Shamayim. When this is drawn out of men, they are on earth. They are on earth and established here. Then the reign of the Shamayim will embrace the earth. When the rule of Elohim is established on earth, then will the reign of the Shamayim come down, so the Shamayim and earth are united in one. Boy, that's a big stuff, right? This is futuristic stuff. We're nowhere ever near to this part, right? Because Messiah says that what the reign of the Shamayim is when Yahuwah rules in spirit. How does Yahuwah rule in spirit? Well, the people that are willing to be ruled in spirit are the people that are observing his laws, statutes, and commandments. We are the people that have embraced our Messiah as our Melchizedek priest, as our salvation, as our Word made flesh, which that doesn't mean this is not a Trinity thing, right? He literally was with his dad before creation. He grew up somewhere with his dad, and he knew the Torah, right? The Torah is embedded into our Creator's Son, Messiah Yahushua, because he walked with his Father. And so this is only new to us. Now, he says, when this is drawn out of men while they are on earth and established here, then the reign of Shamim will embrace the earth. So we got a ways to go. And which I guess is a good thing, right? Because there's a lot of people that are 100% lost. We are nowhere near the Hebrews 8 time in this world where Hebrews 8 says that you're going to talk to all your friends and neighbors and everybody's going to know Torah. That's just how it is, right? It's the new covenant that is not a house of Christians, a house of Yisrael and a house of Yehuda in those days. And so you need to align yourself with a place, right? And Abraham was simply a Hebrew, and meaning Hebrew means crossed over, a crossed over one. And so if you need something to identify yourself as, the best thing that Father Abraham had was a Hebrew. He's a crossed over one. And so when we come out of Babylon, when we come out of the world, when we figure out that all this religion is lied to us, it's deceptive, it's sick, it's wrong, it's just horrible, horrible soul-sucking establishments that are meant to suck men's souls further into hell, well, there's a remnant. There's a people. There's a small group of us that are excited about the Torah reign. We're excited about the coming rule of our Elohim. And it may not be in our lifetime. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Rah! All right, so Messiah's talking about the coming reign and where it's being established, and it is us that is to bring it here by us doing the things of the Torah, by us aligning ourselves into this. Continuing on, and I'm sorry for the call. That was the power of the internet. Okay, a rich man standing by said, "We cannot understand these things, and they confuse us. Just tell me what I must do to enjoy eternal Kai." Yahushua said, "By your attire you are among those privileged to enjoy wealth. What do you do with it?" The man replied, "I do as others, getting the most out of it and enjoying life to the full." Yahushua said, "You would be better off selling all you possess and giving the proceeds to the poor. Only thus can you discover yourself and benefit from eternal Kai." The rich man's companion said, "Wise teacher, what of me? I conform to every verse of the Torah. I pray every day and give generously to the poor." Yahushua said, "Have you ever been hungry or slept on the street or gone unclothed?" The man said, "No. Why should I?" Messiah says, Yahushua said, "You deceive yourself and are a hypocrite besides. How can you say you comply with the Torah and teachings of the Nevi'im? Is it not stated in the Torah that you should love your neighbor as yourself? Yet all about you there are people who are hungry, clothed in rags and homeless. Your house is filled with good things, far exceeding your moderate needs, and all you hand out are a few coins and a morsel of food. It is the duty and obligation of such as you to see no man suffers hunger and privation in your neighborhood." Yeah, I think I'll continue on this because it all part of it. Big stuff, right? We're talking about all of this. The Messiah is not one to be like really challenged, or when you ask him, you better be ready for the truth, because sometimes it's going to be a stingingly blaze of glory that comes your way. And this is something we should all understand, right? How are we loving our neighbor as ourselves? That is the second of the greatest of the commandments. That being the greatest is to love our Elohim with all of our heart, with all of our mind, with all of our soul, with all of our strength. So when we have the second of the greatest commandments, are we doing that? And I'm always talking about getting that bag of cheeseburgers and setting it down and going and hanging out with the homeless camp. Doing everything you can. If you spend $100, if you have an extra $100, you can drop $100 and grab a big bag of cheeseburgers. I bet you can make a lot of friends, and I bet you can learn a lot about a lot of people, and I bet you can minister in ways that people have no idea and never saw that coming. And so people are very receptive when they are fed. But that's just one way to get people receptive. There's a lot of other ways. A lot of it is love. A lot of it takes zero cash whatsoever. Sometimes a simple hug. Sometimes a simple hug on those in despair. the people that are crushed, that you know that could possibly use a hand or use some love or use some sort of compassion, right? That's the people of the kingdom, is making sure that those around us are taken care of. And if you are in a position of wealth, then sometimes my words are going to sting you, because what Messiah says stings those with wealth. And it's the same stuff. Are you putting your money to where your mouth is? Are you truly not living outside of your means? Are you taking care of those in need to the very best of your abilities? And a lot of times there's a fine road to that. A lot of times it's simply that none of us are even looking to help those in need. None of us are even searching for these opportunities that we have. And so all of us need to make sure that what we're doing is we're not hoarding our riches at the expense of our soul. Our soul, we must protect our soul. The Torah command says, guard your soul. And so we need to understand that is all part of it. Then Messiah says, turning to a Talmud, a disciple sitting at his side, Yahushua said, Shimon, son of Yonah, let this be your teaching. It is easier for a camel to enter into the city by the needle's eye than for a rich man to enter into the glory of the Shamaim. The rich man turned away and left. Now, let's talk about this, because I just jacked this up. This is very sensitive. It's always been very sensitive. Where's this at? So what we are talking about, 27. Hold up. Now, this last verse right here, this is one of these ones that you get these bad translations. And the translations say that it's easier to get a camel through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to get into the kingdom. And the proper thing is that it's the city by the needle's eye. In Jerusalem, there's this little itty bitty tiny entry that you are not going to be able to get a camel unless the camel's like down on its knees, and to get through. That you can't. The entry is just really hard to get into, right? And you're not going to get you're not going to get a man through it. You're not going to. The man does go through it, but it's not something that is easy to get through. And so, in this proper context, it says it's easier for a camel to enter into the city by the needle's eye, which at that point, this camel is going to have to basically get down, get on all fours, and crawl, if that's even possible, to make it through this. So it's something you would take it through the other gate. So that's something amazing, because you're not going to see a camel going through that. And so when you're comparing that to a rich man, then it's going to be easier to get this camel on its knees and as low as possible and sneak through this hole than what we're going to see, for rich men to not lose their souls because of their finances. And so, guys, with that seems like a good place to leave this at. I hope that we are good. I hope that this explains this. I'm sorry for the phone conversation interruption. It's really weird. Getting these right in the middle we're talking. I might actually have to turn everything off so I don't get these. But thank you. Much love to you guys, and have a great week. And I hope you're reading your scriptures. Read your scriptures while you are able to read them, and while you're able to get astute, while your eyesight's good, while your hearing is good. Put these on your heart, mind, and soul, that we are unable to sin against our Creator. So with that, guys, much love to you all. Until next time, I'm out.